Ladies and gentlemen, I proudly welcome you to Marley State of Mind. You know what the fuck it is. You know what time it is, motherfucker. Let's go. It's a motherfucking podcast. Yeah, it's a motherfucking podcast. Hey, it's a goddamn podcast. Yeah, it's a motherfucking podcast, bitch. Yeah, it's a podcast, bitch. It's a goddamn podcast.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to the world's dopest podcast, Marley State of Mind. And tonight, no different than the other night, we're bringing you the best guests. And, you know, I like to kick it off letting you know how I was introduced to the particular artist that we came across. Tonight's no different.
Yes, sir.
We got my man, Mistr Vibes in the building.
What's good, bro? What's good?
Oh, man, it's lovely. And the first time I came across you, I seen your name on flyers and stuff a few times. I'm like, okay, all right. And we were booked on the show together, Rock Till Morning.
Yeah,
what up, Rel? What up, Monica?
Shout out to Rel and Monica, man.
Rock Till Morning is a very dope spot.
Yes.
And we were booked on the same bill. And, you know, I mean, I got a chance to watch you perform. And it was dope.
Oh, boy. Thank you.
Dope performance, dope music. And the name certainly fits the flow.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that so much.
You know what I mean? You definitely got the cool vibes with you, and I rock with that. And you know what I mean? We've been cool ever since.
Hell yeah, dog.
We've been getting down like that. And you know, it's excellent to have you here tonight. How you feeling?
Great, bro. Glad to be here.
Yeah, good,
Yeah,
man.
I work out here sometimes.
For real?
Yeah, there's a hospital nearby that my company has me go to.
Nice,
Yeah,
nice,
bro.
nice.
Yeah.
Good trip down? Good
Yeah.
travel down?
Yeah. Smooth ride.
For sure.
Smooth ride. Hopped on the turnpike. I actually turned the podcast on.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm like, let me check this shit out real quick.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And yeah, I was just vibing out to the Germ podcast.
Nice, nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Shout out Germ.
Shout out to Germ, dog.
Big Germ came out
What
to
a
show
guy.
some love for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
So now what I like to do, you know what I mean, I like to take people on a walk through your journey, introduce the new listeners, the new people that might not be familiar with you.
Right.
Let them get familiar with you, and the ones that are familiar with you, let them know a little bit more about your journey.
Hell yeah.
Hopefully they get to learn a little bit more about you, right?
Yeah.
And with that being said, do you remember like your earliest influences or your earliest memories of the first time you fell in love with music? Just in general, just enjoyed music.
Yeah. I mean, my parents told me this, like when like Arab music would come up in our living room, like I would always want to dance and pretend to have a microphone in my hand.
Yeah.
But I obviously did nothing about that. So like I liked it when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then I got into music. I just loved music in general. Like once CDs came out, like I was just interested in like typical shit, like Backstreet Boys, dancing, shit like that. Yeah. Whatever my parents would allow me to listen to.
For sure.
They're super strict.
Yeah.
And I remember seeing like the NSYNC album artwork and being like, I want to be this dad. Yeah. And he was like, fuck no, you're not gonna be this.
They weren't feeling
they
the
were
music.
not about that. No.
Yeah.
Arab parents, they're just like, no, you're gonna go be a doctor or something.
Not with
shit.
it.
No, bro.
Not with it. Did religion play a part in that?
Yeah, their religion for sure.
Yeah.
They're more of like a private religion called Druze.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah. So real strict about everything. I listened to them. But I always had it like I like music. I did chorus when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then once I got an iPod and LimeWire was a thing, I downloaded Eminem, 50 Cent, shit like that. And I was like, this is the coolest shit in the world.
Yeah.
Biggie Smalls.
Do you remember the first hip hop song you fell in love with?
No, but the first rap song that really blew my mind, like holy shit, the storytelling and like made me feel something. Yeah. Was the Biggie Smalls song where at the end of the song you hear the two gunshots.
What's that one?
It's like
I'm a huge Biggie fan, by the way. For those,
he's like, you got a red dot on your head, and the other guy's like, you got a red dot on your head too.
Damn, I can't even think of that one.
And it's like, oh shit, and then boom, boom.
Yeah, bro. That's going above.
Oh, it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that song. I was on a chorus trip.
Who the fuck is this?
Yeah, paging me at 5:46 in the morning.
Yeah.
Crack it down. Yeah.
And that's a good one too, bro. And you talk about storytelling. And,
holy shit, bro! I felt something, dude.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember telling the kid who was sitting next to me, his name's Min. He lived in my neighborhood. I'm like, bro, you got to listen to this.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I've heard this song before. I'm like, but are you hearing it?
Right.
Like this is crazy.
Like you
I really
it,
was in
but
his
you
house.
didn't hear it. Yeah.
Right. So that was a mind-blowing moment for me.
Oh no, go back to that, and that's powerful, right? You said you were really in his house, like he painted that picture for you, right?
Dude, literally when I heard the very end of it where there's like two people talking to each other, like I literally, it's like I could envision some like being behind someone's mansion, like sneaking into the backyard, and then looking up to the porch and then like seeing that. I was just like, whoa, bro.
And I love that. I love that you're describing it in that way, because I just had a debate about this recently, because off of the Tony Yayo interview, he was saying that Biggie's better than Ice Cube or whatever, and it was a lot of controversy, which for me it's not. I think Big's one of the greatest rappers of all time.
Right.
If not the greatest rapper.
100%. Well,
and
dude,
he produced the greatest album of all time, which is Life After Death, not the Life After Death. And anybody who wants to debate about that, I'll certainly tell you why it's the greatest hip hop album of all time. But
I got a story about that.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. But just what you're saying, like he painted pictures, right? Like it was like a full-length movie, and as he's saying these words, you can visualize it in your mind, and you can really go through those motions, and that's dope. That was one of your first experiences, and that was your love with music. Hell yeah,
man. Yeah, obviously Eminem was like hard to me.
Yeah, like, that's one of my favorite.
I mean, just great music. Actually, it's pretty crazy.
What up, Darren?
It's crazy to see what's selling the most right now, because Eminem's album will pop up time to time as the most sold album that week in 2023.
Still today, yeah.
Bro, that's nuts.
Timeless
music.
Yes,
dog.
Sir. Timeless
music.
Yeah,
good music is good music, no matter what.
No matter what.
That's amazing, isn't it?
Oh man, it's beautiful, bro. It's like it's what you said. It's timeless.
It's timeless, bro. Yeah, that shit blows my mind. I'm a big Russ fan. He posted that months ago. Yeah. And now I'll randomly see I follow random shit on Twitter.
Yeah.
I'll talk about charts.
Yeah.
And his name will pop up. I'm like, that's amazing, bro. You can't knock that.
Yeah, I'm the same. Like I'm a real like hip hop student, like a true student. Radio bangers for sure, Darian. I'm a student of hip hop, and like you said, like so sometimes I'll go back into that and I'll look to see who sells the most, and I mean just like different stuff, like nerdy hip hop stuff.
Yeah, that's how I am, bro. I want to know every detail.
Yeah, lyrical rappers are definitely coming back. You mentioned Russ, and that's
for sure, bro.
That's someone who's hella lyric. Like I hate to be that guy, right? Because I was on Russ early. Like I fell in love with Russ.
SoundCloud Russ.
Yeah.
Me too, bro.
Like I was on them early. And so like whenever people start, like when I get on stuff early and people start liking it, like I start disliking it.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though you're an artist?
I mean, like I don't dislike it to the point, like I downloaded Russ's last album, which was crazy.
Bro.
Which was crazy. The Pat Poose joint was stupid.
Dude, Pat Poose, I didn't even know who that was before, bro.
My God, yeah.
Dude, he destroyed that first.
That, didn't he? But Russ is one of those lyrical guys, touching on what Darian said about lyrical music coming back. But Russ is one of those newer artists who's lyrical and is a big part of bringing that stuff back to the forefront. And I see that you appreciate lyricism. You appreciate the true elements of hip hop, and I appreciate that about you.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that.
And listening to your music, and I could tell that you have you have a very dope sound. Like your what's the word that I'm looking for here? Like you have a very poised sound. Your delivery is on point.
Thank you.
How long you been rapping for now?
4 years, actually. 2 days ago was the first time I was ever in a studio, and it's with a guy who used to engineer for Chris Hollis when he was KH.
Yeah, yep. Yeah,
just like in some random dude's rooftop, and then like converted the closet to a studio.
Yeah, for those who don't know who Chris Hollis or KH is, that's an R&B artist.
On Taylor Gang, bro.
With Taylor Gang, super dope.
Yep.
Super dope.
Yeah, he's great. I actually met him this year at the Bridge Music Bar because he was performing upstairs while we were performing in the basement.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And he came down to show love, and I was like, holy fuck, this is you, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
So that was your first time in the studio? Was recently?
4 years ago was when I decided. It was 4 summers ago that I decided. I had this moment with myself where I was looking at my life and like everything I devoted it to, career wise, like just decisions I was making. I was like, damn, bro, like I made the money that everyone said that I was supposed to reach for, and I got across that finish line and it sucked.
Right.
You
still felt unfulfilled.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, this shit sucks. This is not this. I thought this was gonna be the holy land I'm crossing over to.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I'm drained. I'm not happy. I have no life. I'm not healthy.
Yeah.
So I started skating again.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? Fuck this, bro. I'm gonna start rapping. Even if it's just for me, I'm gonna do it in my bedroom. I'm gonna figure out how to do it. And then
what was it that made you want to rap though? Specifically?
I always did.
Okay.
I always did. And like me and my friends in high school, we would like write rap. There was like 1 year at work were 15 or 16, where they were all like, "We're gonna start rapping," probably because of Mac.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And I remember like writing random shit at my waiter job on my little notepad. Yeah. And
you're supposed to be taking the orders down. You're right. You're writing lyrics down.
Yeah. And then, but it never turned anything. I never tried to find a beat. I didn't think people.
You were
I
just
didn't
playing
realize
with words.
how people did this shit.
Yeah.
So it just wasn't a thing that we did. It wasn't like, and I was like, I would fall to peer pressure in the sense of being like, is that cool? Like, it's not that cool, so I'm probably not gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just like that's just a reality of it, bro. Like in high school, if you were like trying to rap, like you're probably doing something bad with your life.
No, it's important that you mention that too. Like the peer pressure of like, is this cool? Is this not cool?
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of people who are going to judge you for it, and you know what I mean. And it kind of has a like being an underground artist. Being an underground, I will definitely get to that, Darian, for you. But being an underground artist, it's difficult because you really have no way to gauge your success,
right?
And you have no real benchmark to say how this is going or how it isn't going. And sometimes you can succumb to the peer pressure per se, or you can succumb to your subconscious thoughts of, damn, why am I doing this, or what the reasons are. And it's dope that you were able to rationalize that and find a way to make it make sense for you.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So I mean, that's just a reality of it. Like I wasn't confident enough to go do something that was against the grain of what my friends were doing.
Yeah.
So I just strayed away from it. But I was at a point in my life where I was like, I don't really give a fuck.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna do something for me now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got a Blue Snowball microphone. My roommate at the time. So the first time I ever freestyled was the months leading up to that summer where I wrote that song, because I had subletted. Actually, it was the summer that I started writing during the year.
Okay.
So that summer I subletted in Oakland because I transferred to Pitt, and the roommates upstairs made music. So I'm high downstairs in my bed, sleeping kinda, and I hear, and then like mumbling.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck's going on up there? So like I go out to the kitchen, and like stairs are right outside my bedroom door, so I like kind of listen. I'm like, oh my god, they're fucking making music up there. And then I got to chilling with them, smoking with them, because they're subleasing too.
Yeah.
And they're like, come up and smoke with us, come up and freestyle. And I like finally said, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I went up there, freestyle with them. I said like 3 or 4 lines.
Yeah.
And they all dapped me up and were like, hey, you know what I
mean? You got that first taste of validation for what you were doing.
I was like, oh my god, this is real.
Yeah.
So then that was before I decided. I had that moment with myself where I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna start writing raps for myself.
Absolutely.
They definitely opened that door for me. Mitch the Wizard and Conscious Kel. I don't know if you know who they are.
I'm not familiar with them, but
yeah, shout out to them,
Hell
bro.
Yeah,
shout out to them, bro. None of this would be happening if you guys didn't exist in my world.
Are they are they the ones that showed you like this is how you make music? Are they the ones that showed you the ropes to recording?
Nope. They just got me to freestyle for the first time ever.
Okay.
That was it.
That was your first taste of the validation that we were talking about.
Just the first taste of like ownership of like, oh, they do it themselves. Like this is being done. Right. Before it was just like it's like this dream world. I was like, I don't know how these fuckers do it. Like I don't know how Wiz and Juicy J are making these songs.
Right.
I didn't realize that there's a producer and an engineer, and then there's like delivery, and there's flow, and there's rhyming, and how their rhyming is on purpose, and all this stuff is landing on certain spots.
So that's a perfect transition. So how did you learn about those things?
So it naturally happened because I decided. So the roommate that I roomed with after that, he was big into music, so he would just fuck around. Then he downloaded Audacity on my laptop and Ableton on my laptop.
Okay.
Because my laptop was brand new. So he was like, fuck it, let's just do it on yours.
Yeah.
Then he moved out. And then I was like, all right, Google, what do I need for this?
Self-taught yourself.
Yeah.
Nice.
Got a Blue Snowball microphone.
Yeah.
Found one YouTube video that said, if you want to sound professional on Audacity, do these 5 things.
Yeah.
So I did that. Then I just like found a beat and just started writing and wrote a full song, like hook, verse, hook, verse, hook.
How'd you figure out how to format it? Was it just being a fan of music and listening to music?
Now that knowing what I know now, it was literally just natural intuition. And it's probably because I listened to music so critically that it just felt right.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a familiarity thing. Has to be, because there's no other way. No one ever told me that it's supposed to be 16 bars.
Right.
But I could recognize in my ear, this part of the beat seems like where you do something.
Were you counting bars at that time, or you just
No,
writing to completion? Like you were
listening.
just repetitively going over it, and okay, now I need to go here.
It was just
a
feeling.
couple more.
I'm like,
okay,
oh, this
you.
sounds like, and I'll just remember like, oh, this is where the hook came in, so I need a couple more lines.
Absolutely,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I listened to it like multiple times after. I'm like, oh my god, I wrote a song.
Yeah.
So my plan was like, how do I show people this without them being like the good buddy who's like, oh yeah, bro, you're sick, bro.
Yeah.
So I told my friends, I told 2 friends this exact order. I said, I'm thinking about managing this kid. Do you what do you think of his music, honestly? So I showed my buddy Luke on my porch. We're smoking a blunt. He's like, bro, this is actually really good. Like, this is the type of music I would listen to.
Yeah.
I was like, and he's like, you should do it. I'm like, it's me, bro.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? I was like, let's go upstairs. So I showed him the whole thing, and he was like,
did he know you were interested in music at that point, or was it a complete surprise?
That was the summer that all my friends kept saying, I didn't know Handy could rap. Yeah. You know what I mean? And at that time, because I didn't know anything about rap, all I was doing was freestyling, and it was just like fun. So it was like I was saying fun, dumb shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it was
trying to get a reaction, more or less.
Right. Like I just didn't know what I was doing. So it was like, yeah, let's like be funny or like say something.
Yeah,
But like, yeah, but it sounded good to them. And I did that with my best friend, who's also my manager, Josh Allman. I don't know if you've got a chance to meet him.
I don't believe so.
He pops out sometimes, but he's got his own shit going on. But
absolutely.
I showed him the same process, and then he was like, bro, what? And we actually went upstairs, and he was like, let's write our own right now.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I still have the recording. He told me not to record him, but like I had recorded on my audio, like the memos, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, I just kept writing more music and sending it to Josh. And over the course of that year, he was like, dude, I have the email still. He's like, I'm sick of you sending me stuff and it not being on my phone for real. Like, I don't want to go to my email anymore to listen to your music. Like, you got to put this shit out.
Right.
So then that following year on my birthday, I dropped my first song on SoundCloud.
Nice.
And I dropped 5 more after that. And that was when I was just engineering myself on Audacity on a Blue Snowball microphone.
Yeah. Right.
So I was like, again, DIY. I was like, what do I need to do this on the next level? I have Ableton. So I bought a AKG mic. I think that's what it's called. And then a mic stand, KRK speakers, audio box.
Investing in yourself.
Right. Yes, just fucking running up the credit card, bro. Yeah. I'm like, fuck it, dude. This is going to be fun. Whatever.
Going in,
Yeah. So then I started recording, and then Mitch had hit me up and was like, I showed him one of the songs.
Yeah.
And he's like, you want to mix these? And I was like, yeah. So I just sent him stems. He mixed a few. And those are the songs that I ended up putting on Spotify.
Okay.
And then I started having Kel mix my music too. And then the one song Shaky did really well on SoundCloud.
Yeah.
To me, like it was like 4,000 plays. And I was like, oh my God, guys.
Yeah.
Like this really just happened. So it was at that moment that I wanted to take it seriously. And it was also at that moment that I hit my first creative roadblock.
Really?
Yeah, dog.
What do you think caused that roadblock to come at that time? Like as you're starting to gain momentum, you're starting to get that validation, you're starting to make moves, and hold on, let's even take it back from that. Like you're getting music on Spotify and you're doing these things that established artists are doing that some established artists still aren't doing. How did you figure out those roads? How did you figure out like those steps? Was it more Google, more YouTube
100%.
stuff?
Only Google.
Yeah.
By myself in my room, curious.
Yeah.
So I take to Google for a lot of things in my life. Constantly.
That's important.
That's all I do, bro. Like you can figure everything out.
And that's important for artists coming up now. Like you have such an advantage to have Google and YouTube right there at your fingertips. Like there's nothing that you can't figure out how to do if you have the right determination, the right motivation, and you really want to figure it out. If you don't have the knowledge, it's easy to obtain now. You know, knowledge is only power if it's used. You know what I mean? Knowledge is really potential power.
Yeah, bro. You gotta put that action behind it.
100%.
Yeah. So what happened was I officially had external influences coming into play, and people's voices got in my head. I'm like, the next song has to be as good as Shaky. So I stopped completing songs because I'd get halfway through a hook. I'd get to the verse.
This is where the creative roadblock came in.
Bro, I'd be like, this isn't good enough. This isn't good enough. I suck. Maybe I shouldn't do this.
Yep.
And I had a mentor at the time, which is great because this is a good segue to what we were talking about with Biggie.
Yes, sir.
He let me know that he used to rap when he was in college, and then they ended up winning a rap competition and got offered a record label with Babyface.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah,
and Face Records,
yeah,
Babyface and L.A. Reid,
bro,
yes, sir.
yeah, dude,
yeah,
it was a Hot 97 competition. I don't know, but they won it.
Yeah,
and all of them turned it down because they're like, one was going to be a lawyer, one was going to do. They all just were friends that got together and wanted to intermingle with, because they went to Swarthmore, which is like a private Ivy League college that was predominantly black. So they were like the minority, and they're like, we want to like integrate. So like, we'll just start rapping.
Yeah.
And that's how they became friends with people, but they were actually great. So he's a huge rap nerd.
Yeah.
Bro, like
and he happened to be your mentor at the time.
Yeah, like just life coach.
Yeah.
Success coach.
How opportune is that? Like, you talk about destiny and things being meant
crazy,
to be.
Right?
Like, that had to be another sign for you. Like, this is real.
Right. Yeah. Right. So I brought it up to him, my problem, and he was like, let's meet up for our first rap class. First rap class was just him showing me old hip hop. And he brought up fucking Biggie Smalls album, bro. Yeah. He was like, there's a reason why this album is the best album in the world.
Yes.
He's like, I'm only going to show you why, a little bit of why now, because you're not ready to write an album. And he showed me like the first song. And he's like, you hear that music in the background? It sounds like a radio, right? Mm-hmm. He's like, that's from...
He's talking about Ready to Die.
Right. Ready to Die. He's like, that's the decade he lived in at that time, that he's about to write a song about being young at that time. He's like, all these things are put there on purpose. This is a storytelling creative outlet. Yes. This isn't just random. And he's like, I can tell who you listen to by what you're making. So let me show you who to listen to, because that'll influence you. And that led to an awakening, but almost restarted the whole process, because now I'm coming at it differently. Now I'm listening for things. He's like, you hear how the rhyme's hitting here and the rhyme's hitting
here? You're becoming a student of the art. Yes, sir.
So then it took me about another year of just being in my room, getting out of my own head, until I finally started busting out music again. Like creating full songs.
So you took like a year hiatus?
Yeah.
From creating music.
Constantly trying, though.
But at this time you were being a student of
right,
the art.
Right. Listening to things differently.
Yeah.
Trying to break it down in my head. Like, why is this hitting me so hard?
Right.
And it's still that. It's never ended. Like, I'm still constantly learning. But yeah, so that led to me buckling down. I wrote 20 singles, probably 25 singles, only dropped 18, but it was week after week after week, which was what led to me getting booked by RTM.
Dope. Well, you know what? And the word I was looking for was polished. Your sound is polished.
Wow, thank you.
I couldn't find the word, and it kind of makes sense now. Hearing your process and how you came up, you have your delivery is polished. A lot of times when guys are newer in hip hop, or guys and gals, anytime artists are newer in hip hop, you can kind of hear the newness in them. You know what I mean? In their delivery, you can kind of tell like, oh, you know what I mean, they haven't been doing it that long.
Yeah.
But the fact that you like really dived into the music and you became a student of the music and you're listening to music differently. You're not listening for your leisure. You're listening, you know what I mean, as a business now. You're listening as a student. You're trying to absorb and take things from this music. And right. I could tell, you know, especially because you're still fresh in the game. You're a younger underground artist at this point. Mm-hmm. And your sound doesn't reflect that. You sound very polished.
Thanks, man. That really means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
Thank you, my boy.
100%.
Yeah, dude. So so I dropped 20 singles in a row. Kel mixed all of them because of Russ. I was like, let me build up a bunch of songs so I can drop consistently.
What was it about Russ that made you want to do that?
So I found his songs on SoundCloud the same year that I decided I wanted to start skating and rapping, which was also the same year that Mac died. And I was like, I just dove into him on SoundCloud, and I'm like, this guy is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And the first song I found by him was Too Many. One time, two times, too many.
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And I was just like, who the fuck is this guy?
Yeah.
And there really wasn't a lot out by him. But there was a couple interviews, and I was just like, dude, this guy's doing everything himself.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and you're in the same boat at that point, right?
Right.
Mostly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and he just made me realize he's proud of the influence of me being like, okay, I get that idea.
Yeah.
Like, let me try and figure out what I can do to make this process as simple as possible so I don't have any roadblocks stopping me from executing. Because it doesn't matter where it goes. What it matters is that I can do it. You know what I mean?
100%.
So drop those singles. None of them really went crazy. I mean, Imagine That did, which is still my phone, my background on my phone, which meant a lot because that song made me feel like I was finally executing what my karate teacher, my mentor, taught me, which was like writing for real from where I'm at, like everything in there. Like there's a little bit of like, there's like slight facetiousness in my songs before because I didn't know any better.
Right.
But it wasn't anything far fetched.
Right.
Like I might have just like stretched it to sound bigger on a line or two. But like that song was just 100% rawness.
Yeah.
And then every song after that, you can hear it. You know what I mean? Like I know it. Just like I was like, oh, it makes sense.
Yes.
I can do this all based off of what I fucking experience. And this just so happens to be the song that hits the most.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Then it made sense why Shaky made sense or did well.
Yeah.
Because that was about a fucking girl.
Yeah.
It's really not supposed to be a song that's like positive. You know what I mean? But it's just the way I delivered it. It's like bubbly.
The music that comes from your heart connected with people the most.
Right, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah. And then I started doing a bunch of shows. That summer, did a few for Rock Till Morning, did some in in Ohio.
Okay.
And through TRF. I don't know if you know who that is.
Not familiar with
you know Honcho Lambo or Cuddy Suave.
Oh yeah.
So they all fucked with TRF. And they were like trying to book me shows with that crew.
How'd you start making those connections?
At the show.
Okay.
Yeah. And the like label owner, it's like a very small label.
Dope. So you started networking.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
I just want to meet everybody.
Yeah.
That was like my main goal. I do that naturally though. Like I just want to be friends with people.
You're an outgoing person.
Yeah. I just like
that's important.
Meeting people. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah. So he paid for me to perform at these shows, and he paid for my first music video ever.
Wow.
Right.
That shows a lot of belief in you and what you're doing.
Right.
Was that belief in you important? Did that motivate you to keep going harder? It was so
cool. Yeah. I was like, wow, this is really happening.
You're getting a lot of validation fast.
Yeah. It was enough validation to keep going, but not enough validation for me to get out of my own head. That didn't happen till recently.
You still were having those struggles with confidence in yourself?
Yeah, in my ability.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like I think everything I make usually is awesome.
Yeah.
To myself, because I'm just like, it feels the best once the song's done.
Yeah.
I'm like, I did it again.
Yeah.
We finally did it. You know what I mean? But then like I listen to other people's music, pop and music, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm hitting like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I haven't. It's just a matter of not finding. The audience hasn't found my music yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's like once that started happening, that's helped a lot. But yeah, so I did shows with them. They paid for the music video. Then Kyle from ID Labs, produced by Cali. He goes by Wyatt Herb. He hit me up. He was like, "Hey, I see you've been doing a lot of shows. You want to hang out sometime? We can show each other some music." I'm like, "Sure." He's like, "Why don't you come to the studio?" I'm like, "All right." And he's like, I'm like, "What studio?" He's like, ID Labs. I'm like, "What?" That's crazy, because someone else just hit me up to come jump in their studio session. Tricky Nick, he records with JD. JD made this.
JD
I'm like,
made this. Yeah. Shout out JD.
Yeah, he's like, I told him, I'm like, I'm supposed to be there already, so I'll come chill with you beforehand, then I'll link up with them.
And it's a lot of things happening
all at once, bro.
Yeah.
After the craziest weekend, I did 3 shows: Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then he hit me up.
For those who are watching who don't know, ID Labs is one of the most prominent hip hop studios in Pittsburgh. This is the home of Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, artists like that. You know, anytime artists come to Pittsburgh to record any major artists, this is one of the places that they attend. This is one of the places that they go. It's one of the big hip hop meccas.
Yeah, bro.
So when you hear a call like that saying, "Hey, come down to ID Labs,"
bro, crazy.
Yeah.
In general, but even crazier because my sister Hannah Daisy, she's an artist as well, just like kind of like a well-known person in the city.
For sure.
She would always be on my ass like, "Why don't you go record at ID? Why don't you go record at these places? I know people." I'm like, I want to be invited.
Yes.
I want someone to reach out to me.
You want to get it on your own merit.
Right. Yeah. I don't want to just go pay for time and be like just a part of a cog in the machine.
Yeah.
Like this is art to me.
Yes.
I want to connect with somebody. You know what I mean?
That's
why I record at my fucking house. Because
I've
hung out. I was hanging out with other rappers, like local pit rappers, and they all had this ego to them and just like made me feel real small. And I was like, damn, bro, this is really not helping me. So
for sure.
When Kyle hit me up, I was like, talk about manifesting.
Yeah.
Like, that shit just happened in front of me.
Yeah.
Then I walk into ID and I'm seeing all these plaques.
Yeah.
And I smell all this weed and I'm like, I'm really here. This is fucking crazy.
Right.
Yeah. So we linked up, showed each other some music. He's like, why don't we do a session? We did a session. I really liked hanging out with him. Like, it just felt like very personal. Like, I was like, this is someone I'd be friends with.
It was organic
outside of the music.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
And then I had a bunch of demos already written. So I was like, yeah, let's just book sessions. I have songs I could record with you. And as I was doing that, my best friend and manager at the time was like, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to release these singles. He's like, why don't we put a little project together? Like, that'd be pretty cool. It's a big moment. Like, you're officially recording at Wiz's studio.
And there you go, Darian. That was the question that you had from how did he start promoting himself, and he's telling you just how he did it.
Yeah, but I literally just tried to find shows locally, went there without knowing anyone, tried to get a couple of my friends out to be there so I could stare at them while I'm performing it. You know what I mean? Because I was 100% nervous, bro.
Right.
It's at least for me, because of what I make.
Yeah.
Knowing that it's not fucking real hard shit or typical Pittsburgh rap music.
Right.
I'm like, I'm really about to be up here soft boy as shit. You know what I mean? Like, but that's still good music. That's
Absolutely.
there's still a very
that
big
translates no matter what. Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And I found that out by performing, because I would stick out like a sore thumb, and then people would pull me aside and be like, yo, I really liked your music. Like, what's your Instagram? What's your phone number? Let's do this.
Sometimes it's better to go against the grain and be something different, because a lot of that stuff that's the same old tends to blend in.
Yeah.
You know, and then you have something different. It's refreshing to, you know, the audience. It's refreshing to the artist. And, you know, you might even aspire because they're like, damn, you know what I mean? Like, I need to be more on that wave, perhaps. You know
right,
what I mean?
Right.
It's nothing wrong with being different and going against the grain. And in fact, I think, you know what I mean, that's the most important thing is to try to be the next thing, not to ride the wave, but try to be the wave.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It's hard for me. It's been hard to like really grasp onto that. Like, just being one with, this is just how I am. Like, just rock with that.
Yeah.
And that's just a me thing. I don't know. There's obviously a lot of artists that are vocal about being like, no, fuck that, bro. Like, I've always been me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. I knew I was the shit.
Yeah.
Like,
I think you kind of have to say that. I think a lot of that's bravado.
I'm starting to see that
necessarily.
Yeah.
True.
We're all normal.
100%.
At the end of the day.
100%.
Yeah. So then we recorded the album. I dropped it. And I just started promoting. I just went online and tried to find Spotify playlists to, like, different websites to put it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't even remember half of the fucking
trying to put your music in front of new ears.
Right. Playlist campaign, like, just different shit. I'm like, I got to spend money to figure this out. This is a big science project now.
More investing.
Yeah. I realized that the difference between my music and poppin' music has a bunch of people listening.
More ears on it. Yeah.
The whole world hasn't heard my album. I'm still promoting the fucking album.
That's important.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, there are people, every time I show someone my album, not every time, the majority of the time I show people my album, there's at least one song in there that they're like, I really like the song. I saved it.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's enough validation for me to keep pushing
going.
this shit.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't I? The whole world hasn't heard it yet, so I haven't found out yet if this is a flop or not.
I'm glad you said that too, because, you know, as an artist, I know sometimes, like, the music's owed to you and you're like, man, this isn't really
right.
But there's 7 billion people in the world. And if you have 1,000 views or 1,000 listens or 2,000, even 1 million, you still have so many people that haven't heard what you're doing. So just because it's owed to you doesn't mean that it's not new to everyone else. And I heard a great example of that was when Fetty Wap dropped Trap Queen. Like, I guess he was on a campaign for like 5 years with that song before it got big.
Wow.
And that's why in the video you seen like he had a short haircut, but when he came out he had the long twist. Like, he
I actually never noticed that.
Yeah, in the video he has like a short haircut, but you know what I mean,
wow.
when he's making appearances, but it's because he's been pushing it for so long. Yep. So the fact that you learned that early on is huge. It's huge, and you're making those investments in yourself, and you're showing that you believe in yourself, and it's paying off.
Yeah.
And that's huge as well, and that's important to do. It's important to pay these dues. It's important, and I notice a common theme amongst the artists that I bring in is the investing, planting seed money to get fruits for your labor later on.
Right.
And that's the only way that you can truly make it is you gotta sacrifice some things.
Right.
And some of those things are sometimes are monetary. Sometimes it is money that you have to sacrifice.
Yeah, bro. That's a common denominator
for sure.
Who's putting the fucking money up?
Who's putting the money up?
Yeah, bro.
And if and even you know, and some artists that might not have money, you also got to put in the legwork. You know what I mean? You got to network. You got to meet these different people. You might find someone who believes in you.
Right.
But you have to be putting in some type of seed money, whether it's sweat equity or whether it's monetary, real, actual, physical cash.
Right.
You have to put in some type of work. But while we got you, listen to some music.
Oh yeah,
we're
bro.
talking about some of these singles. You know, we'll get back to the story, but
yes, sir.
You know, we want to certainly introduce some of the viewers that are listening.
Please.
By
do,
the way,
bro.
for those just coming in, we're a bunch of Bull Studios, Marley State of Mind podcast. I'm your host tonight. It's Marley. I'm here with Mistr Vibes. Make sure y'all spell that right, Mistr Vibes.
Mistr.
Yes. Tell them how to get a hold of you. All your socials and all of those things. How to stream you.
Yep. Mistr Vibes.
Yes, sir.
On every streaming platform, every social media platform, except for Threads. Haven't hopped on that one yet, but I downloaded the app, so I need to do that this weekend.
For sure.
But yeah,
that's how they find you.
Yes,
what are we going to be listening to today?
Well, I have two go-tos.
Yes, sir.
One specifically I'm going to promote because it's blown up on SoundCloud. It has been for the past year. It's my bedroom pop song. It's part one. You just passed it, actually. Part one.
Got you.
First 3 weeks.
Yes, sir. And how can they listen to this if they're looking for this song?
So just type in my name and then first 3 weeks, 3 words. After that, on Apple, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube,
wherever
Deezer,
you're streaming music,
everywhere.
Wherever you're streaming music, make sure you got that.
Yeah. Yep.
This one's part one. First 3 weeks, Mistr Vibes.
Thank you.
I start feeling way too much. I start being cautious. You take that as something's wrong. I'm just being honest. I'm falling. Ooh, I'm falling. But it goes, I guess. I just look back at some old ass text. Ooh, how it worked out back then, damn. I would play cool, you would chase me. I would look past all the signs, cause the road I was on, you don't really mean much to me. That'll change, I'm the one that's saying. I like when you call my phone, tell me about your morning. I like when you say too much, think that it's a problem. I'm falling. Ooh, I'm falling. When I start feeling way too much, I start being cautious. You take that as something's wrong. I'm just being honest. I'm falling. Ooh, I'm falling. I like when you call my phone, tell me about your morning. I like when you say too much, think that it's a problem. I'm falling. Ooh, I'm falling. I start feeling way too much. I start being cautious. You take that as something's wrong. I'm just being honest. I'm falling. Ooh, I'm falling.
Callie killed the mix on that, bro.
Callie mixed that for you?
Yeah. Recorded and mixed it with him, dude.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about that track. What inspired all that?
So actually, that song, it sounds like it's a love song, but I actually wrote that right after I like kind of put my foot down with this girl that I was like, I thought was something was happening with, but turns out it wasn't.
Yeah.
So it sounds like I'm saying I like when you call my phone.
Yeah.
But it's I liked. I like when
in
you
a
call
past
my
tense,
phone,
yes,
and tell me about your morning.
Yeah.
I liked when you'd say so much and think that it's a problem. I'm falling. So it's a 2-part song. So that song is like me like coming to the realization that like, oh wait, I fuck with you, I think. And then I was like, let me write a part 2 to this. So then the part 2 is like me realizing like me saying like you're the one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And yeah, there's part 1 and part 2 on the album.
So that's dope. So I love how it all comes full circle, right?
Yeah.
I like how it comes full circle because we spoke about the Biggie record.
Yeah.
And the setup for it, right?
Right.
And now, we can tell the influence that had to what you're doing. Now you're painting the story. Now you're painting the picture.
Right.
You're taking the listener on a journey.
Hell yeah.
Through your experience, right? And it's all coming full circle for you. And like you said, your mentor told you, I can tell who you listen to, what type of music you're making.
Yeah. Right.
Because that's what's coming, even subconsciously, right? Because I'm sure that's not what came to your mind whenever that's probably the furthest thing from your mind,
right, bro?
When you're making that, but it still had an effect on you. And let that be a lesson to you as well, young artists or inspiring artists that are out there. Like, it's important what you listen to, what you consume, and it's important to be a student of the art of hip hop because it is an art. It's a beautiful thing. It's a lot of things to it. And the thing that you'll find, and this is important for you too, right? Because you were talking about standing out and being at, the thing that you will find is there are fads and there's trends, and those things come and go.
Right.
Those things that are popping for that moment, they come and go. But the things that are timeless, like the stuff we're talking about, the stuff that sticks with people, the stuff that you can listen to years and years later, is the stuff that comes from some place that's truly artistic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And at least to me, I could be wrong. I don't know.
True. I get. Yeah, I agree.
But that's what I found in music. That's been my perspective on it. It's a thing that people are able to connect with on a serious level, because there's songs that come on in a club and it's cool,
right,
in the club, but if I'm chilling and I want to reminisce, like I still got tracks I play from back when I was a kid, you know what I mean?
Bro. Yeah, same.
It still gives me those feelings.
Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? And that's what you're doing. And I say all that to say, I love that your road in hip hop. I love that you've become a student of it. I love that you've done your research. You didn't just get into it to be cool. You didn't just get into it to be popular. You didn't get into it to try to get a check.
No, yeah.
This was something that you were passionate about, and you paid your dues to show just how passionate you did your homework.
Yeah, bro.
And it's reflecting in the music that you're making.
Hell yeah, bro. I appreciate that.
And that's part 3 for us. That
was part 1.
That was part 1.
Right, part 1. Yeah, bro.
Right.
And that song just is, I think it's like 1,000 or 2 streams away from being at 230,000 on SoundCloud. Whoa. Yeah, bro. This crazy. Time last year.
That's crazy.
Bro, crazy as shit. This time last year was actually like, it's the craziest thing in the world to think about. This time last year was like the lowest I've ever felt in my entire life. And at that exact moment, my music started taking off. Crazy, bro.
Music's always had a correlation in your personal life, and
I guess you're right.
And translating into.
And what are the chances that it's the song that 6 months ago was about a girl,
right,
that was that fucked me up? You know what I mean? And then this song
came from
about
pain.
Bro, then I go through this crazy breakup, and that song takes off, and spent this entire year just getting thousands of plays daily.
That pain turned into pleasure for
Amazing.
you.
Yeah. The universe works in crazy ways, man. And you just never know what's happening in the background. That's the beauty about music. You drop that shit, and you do the things you need to do for it to kind of like get the ball rolling.
Yeah.
There was $85 total of promotion on SoundCloud on that song 6 months prior. Before it took off.
Yeah.
It just happened out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's crazy.
Crazy, bro.
And I love that you don't mind investing in yourself, and you know what I mean? And it's important to do, man. Like,
yeah.
And like you said, you might not even get the return right away. You might put the money in and not even get the return right away and get frustrated by that. But if you believe in yourself and you truly know what you have, you got to keep grinding through all of that.
Right, bro. Yeah.
Despite all that outside noise, and that's what you did, and you're starting to see the fruits of your labor now.
Yeah, bro.
As a result.
Yeah, it's crazy. Because, like, what are you gonna do? Spend that 85 on what? A bottle at the club?
Something stupid.
What the fuck is that doing for you?
Going out on a date.
I'd rather just right. And that actually, date, I'd rather spend it on a date, because whatever that experience might be could turn into a song for me.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Yeah, female influences in my life definitely have a lot to do with what comes out of me.
We spoke about that a little bit off camera. That you were one of one boy of how many sisters?
Three younger sisters.
Of three younger sisters.
Yeah, yeah.
So that
and was basically just raised by my mom because my dad was always working.
Yeah,
yeah.
So you had a lot of female influence in your life.
Tons. Yeah. Yeah, dude. Which probably fueled my emotional side, which also fuels my creativity.
Right. A lot of your and once again, your life is showing in your music and it's coming through that.
Right.
Way.
Right.
How important was it? How important were your sisters in you know? And this is off music, but how important were they in showing you how to treat women or what type of perspective did they give you on your relationship?
So I'd say my mom had the biggest influence on how to treat my little sisters because I was old enough to help raise my two younger sisters.
Yeah.
And like just like dealing with a baby, like you have to be delicate.
Yeah.
And then they're also girls.
Yeah.
So like I can't fucking tackle them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like so she kind of like formulated me to be more of like softer towards them. Yeah, sure. She's like they're delicate, they're little flowers. Like, yeah, you know what I mean. Like you gotta take care of them.
Yeah, and
but not like how dad takes relationships care of you.
Like that.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah,
not as much anymore. Now I'm getting older because I realize like I gotta be a man.
Yeah,
so it can't be too soft.
Yeah.
You can do whatever the fuck you want, but it just hasn't fucking worked out for me in my experience. And doing the opposite has been working for me lately. So it makes sense. But yeah, so they definitely had an influence on just how I go about things.
Yeah.
I feel like it's really easy to tell that I didn't have brothers if you like put me on a football field.
Really?
Yeah.
Some guys can't ball, have brothers and all that, man.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You got it. You got it. You know,
that's true.
All right, so that project samples. That samples project.
Yeah.
And this was your first project?
First album.
First true album.
Yeah. Double-sided album. The first 5 songs were more of like 808s, clubbish, like harder songs. That was like my attempt at trying to like fit in.
Yeah.
That was my Mistr Vibes version of like this is the now sound. And then the second half is more so my soulful side.
Yeah.
Which is why first 3 weeks or part 1 and part 2 are the last 2 songs. It's like you start out with Go Mode and Late Bloomer, which is heavy 808s like banging, and then you come into this valley where it kind of dips off.
Yeah.
And the last song's Progression on the first half, and then you go into Preteen Fiend, which is more of like a boom bap rap song about me being like this little stoner skater guy.
Yeah.
And then I take you through. Then what follows that is Scrollin', which is a song about one of my exes coming back home, me sending her a Snapchat memory of us from last year, and her being like, "So you want to hang out?" And I'm like, "Yeah," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he fucking completes it with the hook of being like, "I'll be back in town for the summer." It just fucking fit perfectly. That was the first song we ever collabed on, and it was like, "Wow, this is mad."
That's the Cali joint.
And dude, that is the song that stands the fuck out on that album.
Yeah, it's a dope song for sure.
Yeah, bro. And it like, there's so many people that are like, "This song, this is the song." I'm like, "Yeah, that's awesome."
So what's your first project? How many songs have you recorded prior to the project?
How many have I put out?
No, just recorded prior to the project.
Like just including me at my house?
Yeah.
Oh, probably over 50.
When do you think it was that you actually caught your sound? Like you discovered what you wanted?
I still feel like I'm figuring it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
Yeah, bro. Like it's an ever that's why this was called samples. Because it's like here's 5 couplets of songs that are samples of what I want to expand upon.
Yeah.
Because these interested me.
And
so I could make those.
You're trying to show your versatility as
right.
well.
Like I could make a whole project of like Go Mode Late Bloomers or fucking Ignored and Progression or fucking part 1, part 2 or Scrollin' and Highway Mileage. Like they all could like those type of beats, that type of sound, that type of content is stuff that I like to do. So I'm just gonna like go on with that.
And being a versatile artist, that's difficult at times too, right? Because you'll play songs for different people and they're going to have different favorites,
right?
That they hear. That's going to be a different style than the last one, and sometimes people might pigeonhole you for that as well because they might have just heard this song,
right?
And they might think that's what you do,
right?
Do you find that to be a challenge with the outside noise influence? And you kind of touched on that as well, like the outside noise influencing what type of music you make, or creating those roadblocks for you in the music that you're making. Just the challenge of the outside noise.
Yeah, it definitely does, and it's mainly this. It's mainly just me allowing myself to think about like, will they like it? That fucks you up, fucks me up so much, bro.
Yeah, 100%.
I'll stop writing a whole fucking song. It could be going great,
yeah,
and the next line I'll be like, I don't know if people are gonna like that, and then that'll fucking distract me the whole. Like it's like throwing away the whole bag.
Yeah.
At that point, so I've just been like, so first 3 weeks blowing up is definitely has been a moment for me to be like, okay, dude, like this was so off the track of what you normally do, but you knew when you made it that it was something cool, and nothing was different about it. Because
I wouldn't categorize that as hip hop per se. Like,
no, that's like bedroom pop, 100% is what that is. Yeah,
I like that.
So, I try to combat the voice in my head with my voice saying, people already like what you do, like you doing you. So just do you, bro.
Just keep doing it.
And Rick Rubin talks a lot about that.
Yeah.
He talks constantly about being like the end result has nothing to do with my creative process.
Yeah.
I actually just saw something recently of him saying, the audience will find you. Yeah. Like you just keep making music. Your music will create an audience. Right. They will come to you. He's like, the audience is the last thing I'm never thinking about that.
Yeah. Easy for him to say.
Right. Right. Well, he hit that. Yeah. He hit that on the head, like right off the rip.
The co-founder of Def Jam.
So. Right. Right.
No, but yeah.
But that's the thing. Like he was very off the.
No. I joke.
The grid. You know what I mean? Like the last guy you would expect to be the dude.
Yeah.
They even talking about that in I think he did a documentary.
He did. Yeah.
They like, pulled up on him and they're like, this is the guy with the fucking whatever piece of equipment it was. Yeah. But I try to think of him a lot because he's always saying that, like, just make your music.
How'd you come across Rick Rubin?
Just being a nerd.
Yeah, being a hip hop
student. Yeah.
Sure. That's dope.
And what a trip that is, finding out what he's behind. You can't even call him a hip hop guy. He's just a music guy.
Yeah.
Just a music guy.
I can't say that because he's the co-founder of Def Jam. We have to call him hip hop guy.
Right. But
what's more hip hop than Def Jam?
Right.
What's more hip hop?
But what's more hip hop than just an amazing musician?
Mm-hmm.
Think about Mac. Mm-hmm. Instruments, vocals. Okay. Then there's Russ, producer, engineer, writer. Okay. You know what I mean? It's like hip hop is really just is like this cool melting pot that made its own genre, but also shows itself and who they've listened to.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
I feel like that's why Lil Peep was Lil Peep.
Yeah.
Like he was such a blend.
Yeah.
But he's rhyming just like we rhyme.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
It's just how he delivered it and what production was behind him. Now all of a sudden it's a new genre. But you just read the lyrics, it's like he's just rhyming A, B, 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 B.
I think that's the funny thing about music though, right? Now often talk about pop music in this way, and I heard Kanye make the pop music is just popular music. And I feel like once you get so great in one genre that you transcend that genre and you move into pop music, and we can name countless artists who we've seen, like Taylor Swift was a country artist who transcended that, became so great at that she became a pop artist.
Bro, she's crazy.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Drake's such a amazing hip hop artist that he transcended and became a pop artist.
Right.
You know what I mean? And even the king of pop himself is an R&B artist who Michael Jackson became so great at being that he became the king of popular music.
All around the world star.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's great that you recognize that. I feel you on that, bro.
Yeah, bro.
I feel you on that. Let's play another jam for the people.
Put on Scrolling, bro.
Scrolling.
That's definitely a rap song.
For sure. We're gonna play Scrolling.
I love that I can hear that on my headset. Yeah.
Nice and clear too. Mm-hmm. We're gonna get into Scrolling featuring Wyatt Earp off of the Samples album.
Yeah. You know it's vibes and Wyatt. A couple cars getting pop. Yeah. Yo. Yeah. A couple cars getting popped when Malone is on. She probably posted at a spot with some Jonas on. Another hour to the power hour pre-game. He introduced her to the Greek life and cocaine. And every now and then she gets on the phone, scrolling through the memories that she made when she was home. Right before we graduated, to a car's dorm, we were sneaking out the basement for some time alone. Park car where we partake. The activities are only the adults make. And it's an energy, a little bit of kush, ayy. That's a recipe for memories you can't replace. In a moment's notice, everything can feel real. She's an empath, to her, it's a real deal. So when I see the yellow banner border with her name, I know she's sliding from the right like it's a tender date. Yeah.
I'll be back in town for the summer. I was looking at a memory, thinking we can make some others. Thought if that won't let me be. It's been so long, where did we go wrong? Growing up and growing apart. You never left the back of my heart.
Leave.
We can take it back to
No,
the
you
start.
didn't ever leave, but you left me in the physical. Damn, how the fuck was this a year ago already? Grammy Toxic RV, you would let me steal while I let you be. Low hand in the thigh, sitting front seat. Only time you're hungry is when chicken's down the street. At least the only time you're hungry doesn't make my pockets bleed. But once a heart bleeding after bleeding from the pockets. I remember when you put a picture in a locket, and you pinned a famous place for us to go and lock it. On some always and forever shit. Minus the forever now, it's always like whenever shit. That's a plus. If the shoe fits where in an instance it's a band, I don't wanna see a family. Let's just meet up at the park again, where the cranberry fair takes place. And cause I'll be
back in town for the summer. I was looking at a memory, thinking we can make some others. Thought if that won't let me be. It's been so long, where did we go wrong? Growing up and growing apart. You never left the back of my heart. We can take it back to the start.
Hey,
Yo,
fire, bro.
thank you, bro. Kyle definitely sewed that song together with the hook, bro.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
And we already spoke about that one, how that one came about a little bit, and,
Right.
and the inspiration behind that.
Yeah.
Now, what are we working on present day? What we got?
So I have a few demos.
You got some shows coming up for the people.
So I
Definitely let them know
actually,
about the dates and all of that as well.
yeah. So I don't have any shows booked right now. There was supposed to be a show that I was gonna do yesterday, but that got canceled. We've been performing with a group of people. They go under Canvas. It's considered Canvas Radio. Shell the Philosopher put that together. He's a dope artist coming up too, and those are at the Bridge Music Bar.
Okay.
So I did a show there. They invited us back. They had some staffing issues, which canceled it. But I got a new job, and I've been really focused on that.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I just kind of like music has been happening in the background, but I haven't been booking studio sessions.
Active, right.
But I just texted Josh today and was like, let's gear up to put another project together for this coming January 2024.
Absolutely.
So I have a few demos, and I have a bunch of unfinished songs, pretty finished songs that me and Kyle recorded last year, in the midst of me being in a relationship. So I was like, kind of writing music, kind of fucking not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
But that shit needs to come out. So I have at least 8 to 10 songs, but I'm gonna keep writing more throughout the summer, and then those will probably come out. I'll end up picking which ones I want to come out, but I'm gonna drop all of them just on SoundCloud and YouTube.
Okay.
But I don't like the idea of hoarding music.
Yeah.
Just because you don't really ever know.
Right. Because you might have that one in a chamber.
Half the shit I think is the song.
Yeah.
Is never really the song, and then the songs that I'm just like, just put it out there anyways.
Yeah.
Are the ones that go crazy.
Yeah. That drive you crazy. You play a song for someone and they're like, and then you play them another song that you're really not feeling.
Right.
And they're like, bro, this one.
This is my favorite one.
You're like, this
I'm
one?
like, really, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's true. And I always think about it this way, right? I don't like everything that's played on the radio.
Right.
And some people love it.
That's the thing, dude. It's popular for a reason.
Yeah. So you might not never know. So you're working on that. Summertime, we're just getting back into the craft.
Yeah.
How can the people work with you? You open for features and
I'm
things
open
like that?
for anything. I actually want to collab with people this coming year. Like I feel like it's time for me to start branching out of just me being a solo act. Like I would love to perform songs with people I've made songs with.
Yeah.
That'd be cool for the show.
So you're doing some features. How can they get a hold of you for features?
Hit me up on Instagram, MISTRVIBES. If you have SoundCloud too, and you check out my songs and you like it and you want to reach out on there, they have a messaging option on there now, even on the app.
Oh yeah.
Hit me up.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get a
I'm
hold
open
of that,
to anything, bro.
Get a hold of that, man, for sure.
Yeah.
Nah, man. You got anything else for me before we sign off?
No, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was great.
Show
I
him the
appreciate
pillows.
you.
This man came prepared, y'all.
Yeah, I
He
brought
ain't
some
playing.
props. You know what I mean? This is
wasn't
my
playing.
album artwork
Hell yeah.
on in pillow form. My whole bedroom has a corner of just merch that I
Yeah.
made for myself because
Hell
I
yeah.
didn't want to. I just didn't want to sell any yet. But I'm working on getting some clothes made.
Dope.
Because I'm like, why not?
Yeah.
I want to wear it.
You're a fashionable guy. You should have
Thanks,
some.
bro.
You should
Appreciate
have
it.
some.
Yeah, I
for
just
sure.
like that was like the last thing on my mind was like, let's buy clothes to sell.
Yeah.
But now I see like, oh, that if I make some banger pieces, that could be.
And
a
it can
revenue
help. It can
stream.
help. Yeah, supplement some of the.
That's what I'm trying to
Yes,
think of
sir.
now. Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah,
well,
bro.
I appreciate you coming out and rocking with me, bro.
Yeah, bro. I
That's
appreciate
been a
you.
true pleasure. A lot of fun.
Hell yeah, me too.
We had a lot of fun.
This was great.
I mean, it was good getting to know you better and
Shout out to JD for being the reason why we connected, dude.
yeah, essentially, yeah. Shout out to JD. JD made
Reconnected.
Yeah, JD made this.
JD made this.
Make sure you watch that episode too. JD
Yeah,
came down
dude.
too. You know, JD came.
Yeah,
down and
he
rocked with
did.
us. But yeah, you're back. Marley State of Mind, the world's dopest podcast. We had Mr. Vibes with us tonight. Bunch of Bull Studios. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, all that YouTube-y stuff that you do. We're signing out. We'll see y'all next time.